Hello and welcome for my thoughts for the day. Have you ever been challenged to change the way people think of you? Like it becomes pretty much your onus if somebody has bad thoughts of you, and now it's your job to make them think differently. Now there's situations where, you can, if you do something nice for somebody or give them money, they might be happy with you. If they do something that they disagree with or didn't appreciate, they would be unhappy with you. So yeah, you can change the way people think of you for a moment. But what I'm talking about is the challenging somebody challenges you. I think that essentially you're this type of person. And prove to me that you're not. Now, my thoughts on that is what people see in you is more reflectant to who they are rather than who you are. Now, sure, there's some people that we can all agree are bad people. There's no doubt about that. But then to think that the only thing that they've had in their life was bad, or that they're only a bad person, that have no positive traits or good qualities ever in their life, is sort of reflected on you when you choose to see people in this way. And now I'm thinking, because I was thinking a bit more in-depthly about that, and I'm going, okay, how can you change really the way people think of you? And realistically, you'd almost have to ask them, in your mind, what can you do to change the way you think of me? Which is sort of like the touche to the whole perspective. And in martial arts, it's great. It's quite easy. Somebody will disagree with you and say, well, that technique won't work. And you can say, well, here, prove to me that it don't work. Come to hit me and I'll do the technique and you show me how it doesn't work. Because a lot of people, they only see what they're capable of seeing. So they're seeing an opportunity of movement, and they don't realize that, well, quite often the person that's doing the technique knows that. And they have a counter to that, or they can prevent it from happening, and they're just waiting for somebody to do the counter. So you have this chance to actually show somebody what you're doing is good. Or maybe what you're doing isn't good, and somebody can easily just stop you from doing it because, in your delusions of grandeur, you thought you seen this thing, and in your mind it was going to be the end all to know all, and you would take on the world with this great, fantastic technique. So sometimes we get enlightened. And then sometimes we may have to, reprogram ourselves, readdress and look at things a bit differently. But it's a physical experience that teaches it automatically. It's quite simple. I don't know how many times it's happened to me, or like people see stuff on video and they, well, that guy, he wouldn't do that to me. But they're really not aware of the intricacies of the movement, of the energy, of the flow. They don't realize that, well, that technique worked because the person who was coming to attack me had this type of force, and I was utilizing that force to do the technique. Now, of course, if you come to attack me and you're not giving me that force, the same force that I'm utilizing to execute that technique, of course, it's not going to work. So it has to be changed. So it's like, now you're attacking me with a different force. Instead of coming through me, you're sort of apprehensive, sticking out your hand, standing back, waiting to see what I was going to do so that you can counter me. So it's really great in martial arts because we can teach this stuff interactively. But if somebody thinks in their mind, change the way I think, and in their mind, you don't have control of. You can't just go into their mind, wipe it all off, and reinsert a new vision of who you are. If somebody chooses to look negatively upon you, anything you say can be twisted to make it look negatively. Anything you do can be twisted. So if you never have an opportunity, like in martial arts, where you can actually physically show something, you don't have the ability to change the way people think. Only they do. So if somebody wants to change the way they think of you, they have to readdress their own perspective to give them the opportunity to see different things within you rather than their judgment based on any animosity or jealousy or whatever the thing may be that's governing their closed-mindedness. Anyhow, that's my thoughts for today. If it's can benefit you in any way or make you think for a moment and assess your own life or others around you, great. If you like my lecture series, please share it with other people who you might feel benefit from it, and subscribe. Thanks again.